Hey there, it's time for the show, the Tatiana Show, where you make friends and talk life and crypto. This episode of the Tatiana Show has been brought to you by eToro.com. You can trade in a wide range of assets, connect with the crypto community, and automatically copy top-performing portfolios at eToro.com. Quite simply, they have the top currencies, smart tools, low fees, social trading, all in one simple app. They facilitate over $1 trillion in trading volume per year globally. eToro makes powerful trading tools easy. Get started in minutes right now at eToro.com. That's eToro.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special segment of the Tatiana Show brought to you from the North American Bitcoin Conference here in Miami. It is the beginning of 2020, and I am here with Luke Mulks, who's the Business Development Director at Brave. You guys might know that awesome browser. I've been using it. I've been earning tokens there, and I think it's pretty much the most secure browser out there. So I was really excited to make his acquaintance, become little buds, and I don't know, here we are hanging out. And we've been talking a lot, and I wanted to bring that conversation to you guys. So thanks so much, Luke, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So tell me, I don't even know where to begin. So for people who are not familiar with the Brave browser and the software that you guys are using, can you tell us a little bit about that to start out?
Yeah, sure. So Brave's a privacy-focused browser. It's free and open source. It's on all desktop and mobile platforms. And basically what we do is we start by kind of, anything that would try to track you or collect your data without you knowing it, we block it by default. And we also have, third-party ad blocking and tracking protection. And then when you start with that, then you've got a really clean base for, actually owning your data and being in control of who you share it with and how you share it. And then on top of that, we have Brave Rewards, which is uses our basic attention token, and it has an advertising platform where you earn tokens for viewing ads, and then you can pay them to creators and monetize the internet in a new way that protects your privacy.
Wow. So why hasn't any other browser company taken security seriously the way that you have?
Yeah, I think there's security, some security teams on these browsers are actually pretty good. Like the Chrome security team's quite good, but with these business models, there just hasn't been an incentive to clean up their act. If they've been existing in the space is basically incentivized collecting as much data about people as possible, and turning that backwards is really hard. But what we can do is come into the space and say, look, this is a new way to do these things that doesn't require the data collection, and that's the big difference here. But when you look at how many parties are between you and seeing that ad, it's several, and you don't really know where the data goes. And so what we're doing is basically saying, look, we have a platform where we match ads on the device and your data never leaves it, and nobody's really done that before. So it's a new technology, and doing it from the browser level, being a new player, gives us a lot of freedom to try these things out.
But there's a lot of money in data, so how do you guys stay in business?
Yeah, so we sell advertising through the platform, and what we're offering brands is basically the opportunity, since the ads are opt-in, a brand knows when they spend money with us that their ads are getting in front of somebody that cares about advertising, and with privacy regulations changing, brands are looking for new ways to engage with people and form new relationships, and we don't stop people from giving data to brands. Like, people can directly give data to brands as long as they're the ones that are doing it. The minute that somebody tries to collect their data is where we stop and protect people from that type of behavior from happening. So we're not anti-data at all. It's all about just putting that in the control into the person who has the data in his hands, instead of letting people just harvest data from other people, basically.
Okay, so what is the history of the company then? I believe that you said you guys got funding about a year and a half ago, or what was the history of the company leading up to now? Because now everybody's been using it, and tell me a little bit about the BAT token.
Yeah, sure. So the history of the company, Brendan Eich is our CEO and co-founder. He created JavaScript in the 90s, and then he was one of the co-founders of Mozilla Firefox back when they came into market. He founded Brave, and in 2016, we released the first version of the browser. And then in April this year, we actually released the ad platform. But in May of 2017, we had our token sale for the basic attention token, and it's a ERC20 token on the Ethereum blockchain. And the whole purpose is to kind of account and be the unit of account for attention and attention services on the platform. So it's a very distinct use case, but basically, we can use the token to measure attention and qualify attention, and then have the blockchain be the source of truth instead of having a bunch of different parties collecting data and confirming that, the same person seeing the same thing through all this data that the person doesn't even know is being collected, basically. So that's it in a nutshell.
Cool. So where do you see the company going in the future? Do you think that there's going to be any problem around regulations that will affect the growth, and how will that affect the industry in a larger way? You guys are paving the way for some kind of new standards. Do you see other companies picking up on the value of that?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. And what we're trying to do now is basically like mainstream privacy and crypto utility without even having to really say that. Like, it just works. And so the challenge for us has been able to make something that's usable, that we can take out to a mass market and get adoption, which means that we basically have to create a really fast browser that gives you something that you don't get elsewhere. But the great thing about what we're doing is that it's kind of regulatory agnostic on the privacy side. There's all these privacy regulations that have come into place, and our model's designed to not collect any user data. So we can go to Europe, we can go to India, Brazil, anywhere where they're having new regulation go into place and operate with freedom, because we aren't doing, the data collection that is the focus of that regulation. I think on the regulatory front, with crypto, it's been interesting because, our token sale was in May of 2017, and we've been adamant about, being a utility token, and within 6 months we had the token in the browser and people could use it because we were using Bitcoin before. And so we had a ledger in the browser. We transitioned that to BAT, and people have been using it since October of 2017. So it's been, a lot of work and a lot of getting that out there. I think with California regulation and with more regulation coming in there, brands and publishers are trying to find new solutions. And if we can keep executing on what we've been doing, like more and more people will use the browser, and then more brands and other partners will come on board to be part of the ecosystem.
So how do you get people to change their behavior and take up the browser? I mean, what's the marketing been like for you guys so far? Have there been any companies that are sort of allies in that?
Yeah, so that's been one of the challenges is browsers are kind of like having a car, and you don't really need it until it's broken, or you find something really nice that you like. And what we've done is we started a referral program with creators. So we have over 350,000 creators that have verified and used the token on the platform. And so we created a referral program. So that's been a huge growth driver for us, because they go and recommend the product to their audience, and then people stick on the product, and then they get a referral reward for that. We've just started to do more media buys, like podcasts like NPR and Bill Burr and Joe Rogan and other media buys like that with our 1.0 release. So we're getting to more of the mass market that way. But the key has been to make it easy. So if you go from Chrome to Brave right now, you can bring your extensions, you can bring over your passwords, you can bring over your information easily. And that's been something that's been key for us to get people on the browser. So just making it easy, and then showing people the value and what we're doing, and showing them it's a cleaner experience and that they get something out of it that they haven't been getting elsewhere.
So what do you see on the horizon? What kind of development do you guys want to see in any kind of additional services? Yeah, so I think that you'll start to see us grow more into what can we do for creators? Right now we've got a way for them to earn through people viewing, their content and tipping and things like that. But what can we do to help creators better leverage that? And whether it's them, having some idea over rights management with smart contracts, or expanding on our creator platform, and also for users, bringing everything more peer-to-peer has been a focus. So now, if you have a Twitter account, you can verify it with us, or a YouTube account. But what can we do to make it easier for people to earn and to contribute? And then with the advertising side, we've been working with some agencies and brands to get them involved in the ecosystem, and they're trying to find new ways of doing things. So new ways to connect them with people and give people something that they already want. So instead of having
someone bombarded with like hundreds of ads. Like you have people go in and kind of curate their list of brands. Like I like Nike, show me Nike deals I can get, and Nike likes that because then their customers are coming to them. So things like that where we can like improve on the system and make it so that there's less guesswork and that people are directly engaging with brands is kind of like on the forefront.
Okay, cool. So tell me a little bit about the content side, because I'm a musician. I also have a podcast. I do a lot of different content. Where are our creators participating with you guys? How does that work?
Yeah, so we started by letting web domain owners verify their property with us, and basically attention's measured in the browser. So as a user goes and visits sites, at the end of the month, the sites are tallied and their attention's tallied, and then their tokens go out to the creators. And so then we expanded that to YouTube, but now we've got, if you have a YouTube account, you could verify with us and receive tokens from people that are viewing your content and leverage the referral program, but it's expanded even further. So if you have a Twitter account or Vimeo or GitHub or Twitch or what was the other one? YouTube, yeah, YouTube, and we're adding more and more of these platforms to the ecosystem to let people verify with us, which is as simple as signing in and then leveraging our programs and earning rewards from people. Because what we noticed, like when we brought YouTube on, it was right when people started seeing demonetization through channels stopped getting advertising, and YouTube changed the requirements. So if you were a new artist, you had to have a certain amount of views, and getting those views is tough for people. Like we spent a lot of time talking with YouTube creators, and we signed on a couple of large ones, and they were telling us that they used to rely on advertising, and now they have to come up with new ways to make money because the advertising money just isn't there anymore, because YouTube is changing. It's going from being this place of creators are key to like being more about curated content that's brand safe. So we're trying to take advantage of those opportunities and give creators a place where they can create and give them a new model. And as we scale up, this stuff should get to be more and more material. But right now we're seeing early creators, making some decent money off of this platform. So we hope to just kind of continue on that track and build the network up even bigger than what it already is.
Why are creators so important to you, and how do you feel about censorship?
Yeah, so, we're really neutral with this censorship. Basically, if the creator is not provoking or inciting violent behavior or we kind of stay on the sidelines. Like, we're a very neutral platform with that. Content creation is key for the growth of the internet. And if you only have a couple of companies that own everything, it really stifles creativity, and it really just kind of makes the world less bright. So, we really want to give creators tools and give them a platform where they can be free to create, and people can be free, not have people looking over their shoulder or controlling what they're saying because they're worried about not getting monetized for that. So it's all about kind of freedom and giving creators a place to have free expression and to create the content that they want instead of creating content that they think advertisers are going to want. Because when you do that, you really limit the amount of good content that's out there, and then the envelope's not getting pushed anymore. So we're very much into content creation and people being free to create on the platform.
As far as partnerships go, you've mentioned a lot of bigger brands that you guys have created things with, but here we are at a blockchain conference, and some of these companies are obviously not in the league of a Nike or a YouTube. What do you see as the benefit for Brave to be interacting with the crypto community? And let's say that there's some kind of crypto businesses that are listening. Like, what do you want out of that kind of a relationship?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're really, having a token and even earlier on, adopting Bitcoin was one of the things that really got me on board with Brave, was seeing that they were kind of innovating in this space. And we feel very close to crypto projects and to the culture and kind of bringing everything back down to the people. And so I think, when we started the ad platform early on, we went out there and said, look, crypto companies or blockchain related companies are not able to advertise on Google and Facebook. That's changed a little bit, but we were one of the only platforms that welcomed them to come advertise with us. And if you look at Brave now, you'll see we have a lot of crypto advertising, and it's really big for us. We want the projects that want to market and have real products be a part of this ecosystem, and we're working with those. We're working with several different blockchain protocols on integrating things in the browser. For example, IPFS is natively supported in Brave, and we're working with we have crypto wallets added in the browser, which is basically forked MetaMask, and we're going to be adding more blockchain protocols to the browser. So you can see us as kind of leading in the space from the web, kind of bridging between Web 2 and Web Web3, and being that middleware that's protecting privacy, that's more secure, and that lets you kind of facilitate transactions on the blockchain with a little more security than what you're going to get elsewhere.
Wow, that's awesome. So is this your first Bitcoin conference?
No, it's not my first one, but every time I come, I meet great people. So I'm really glad that we could connect, and the people here have been great so far. So Miami's awesome. We're based in San Francisco, and we got people everywhere. So feel free to hit us up, and if you all are interested in having a conversation or learning more about the product.
Okay, well, I'm putting in a small request that I want a LastPass extension to be easy to put in, but we've already discussed that. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to try out your in-house password thing, so we'll see how that ends up going. In case anybody wants to break in, to my stuff, I've just told them my secrets. But okay, so if they want to connect with you, where can they find you online?
Yeah, I'm Luke Mulks at Twitter, LUKEMULKS, and Brave.com, and it's just Brave on Twitter. Feel free to hit us up. We're on GitHub as well, so if you're a developer and you want to contribute to our repos, go to github.com/Brave. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to hit me up or contact anybody at the company. We're really open with everybody. So
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What's the point of all this technology without a little love in our lives? Our hosts, Tatiana Moroz, Dr. Stephanie Murphy, and Lauren Kasovitz, have come together to bring you Proof of Love. Go to proofoflovecast.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special syndicated episode of The Tatiana Show and the Hoddercast. My name's Tatiana Moroz, and I'm here with Sasha Hodder. Say hi, Sasha.
Hi, everyone.
And we're here at the Miami Bitcoin Conference. I guess it's called the North American Bitcoin Conference, but I call it this. And we're here with Bobby Lee, who's actually never been on the Tatiana Show, so we're super excited to have him on. And he is here with his new product called Ballet. So thank you so much for joining us today, Bobby.
Great to have. It's great to be here. I'm so excited to be on your show for the first time.
Me too. So for people, tell us all about Ballet, because I noticed the sign. I like the name. It was very appealing to me. It was a very aesthetically pleasing product. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I've been in crypto for 9 years, almost 9 years, since 2011. And I'm so happy that I sold my company 2 years ago. I was previously the co-founder and CEO of BTCC, the first exchange and one of the largest in the world. Sold that 2 years ago in January 2018. Spent a year off, sort of a sabbatical. And last year, I got the idea to do a new startup. And the idea was to create a new physical wallet that's vastly simpler and easier to use for the rest of the world. For everyone, for all the newcomers, essentially for the millions and the billions of people to come on to crypto. So we just released this late last year. It's called the Ballet Real Bitcoin Wallet. It is a physical wallet. You hear it. It's in a protective case. It's made of stainless steel. And it's really, for the experts out there, it's really a glorified paper wallet. But our innovation is, it's actually the world's first paper wallet with multi-currency support, and also it uses a two-factor key generation process, meaning that there's not a single private key on there, but rather there's actually two components, the BIP38 passphrase and the BIP38 encrypted private key. So again, we use an open standard BIP38. So this is a non-proprietary wallet, meaning that Ballet, the company, not only do we not retain your private keys, we don't even have a proprietary standard on it, meaning that if our company goes out of business, your Bitcoins will still be safe on this wallet. So it's really easy for new users, 100% cold storage.
So let me ask you, if somebody loses that wallet, though, what happens? Can you back up the keys physically and put them somewhere else, or what do you do?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I forgot to tell you, one of the coolest thing about this wallet is we made it into bearer asset, bearer instrument, spelled B-E-A-R-E-R. So a bearer asset is a notion of something where it's physical, tangible. The value of the item is with the item itself. It doesn't depend on the third party. So as an example of a bearer asset would be a gold bar or like a $100 bill. Those are two bearer assets that people are familiar with. Those are physical objects, a gold bar or $100 bill. You have it, you have it. If you lose it, you lose it. So same with Ballet. If you lose it, you lose it. Now, what's not a bearer asset? So there are things like stocks accounts, stock certificate. If you lose it, you can get it reissued, or your real estate title. If you lose that, you can get that reissued as well. Your driver's license, you get it reissued. So many things in the world are not bearer assets, but few things are. And bearer assets are easy because it's anonymous. There's no names attached to it by definition, but the key thing is you can't lose it. So your earlier question, what happens if you lose it? Well, if you lose it, you are SOL, shit out of luck. It's like a $100 bill or or a wad of cash or a gold bar. Now, the reason we chose this compromise and trade-off is because we think for normal people, all the newcomers, they don't know, they wouldn't know how to generate the private keys, they wouldn't know how to store their private keys, they wouldn't know how to back up their private keys, they wouldn't know how to use complex software or hardware wallets. But Ballet is really, really easy. We picked a really nice name that evokes a sense of simplicity and elegance. It's feminine friendly, it's gender neutral. So we really want the whole world to come onto crypto and use Ballet wallets. This is your first gateway to cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I really like it. I also think it is very aesthetically pleasing to women, and it's nice to see that kind of thing. We're pushing for a rose gold version, but we'll see if that one comes out.
That's right. You're the first to actually make that recommendation, a rose gold version. We will actually seriously consider that. So let me take that back to my product team, and hopefully within a few months we might have something like that.
Cool. So I have another question. You've had a number of different crypto businesses. Why did you decide to do this? And what do you think are some challenges associated with other types of businesses? Like why not do another exchange, for example?
Yeah, great question. So my history is I launched the very first Bitcoin exchange in China, BTC China, and through that business, we also launched a mining pool, which is a collective of it's a software service that allows miners to pool together to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And the third thing we did was launch a wallet called Mobi. That's a custodial wallet. It's a mobile wallet where you log in with an account, and then we store the coins for you, make it really easy for you. So I've done that. And the fourth business we launched at BTCC was something called BTCC Mint, which was a physical Bitcoins. It's modeled after Cassasius Bitcoins that Mike Caldwell invented, some 10 years ago.
The Tatiana coin is through that,
similar,
isn't it?
right? Yeah. So I was a coin maker for BTCC Mint. I had a stellar record of that. We made coins for 3 years, from 2016 to 2018. In total, I made a total of over, I think, 30,000 some coins, everything from titanium coins to poker chips to bars and so on and so forth. And the total value of all those coins, I think, exceeded 7,000 or 8,000 BTC. So that's over $60-70 million of market value. The good thing is none of that has ever been stolen or hacked. And the reason is I took great care in operational security to make sure the private keys were deleted and never stored. Right, so I can't even steal it. I don't want to steal it, and I can't even steal it. So today I'm financially independent. I sold my company, made a lot of money, and I also made a lot of money investing in Bitcoin early. So I have no incentive to steal or to be a scam, to scam people for money. Why would I do that? My name and face is on the brand. Why would I want to get myself in trouble, to have a bad reputation when I could just retire and sort of go and do my own thing? So I'm really doing this company, Ballet, really as a community thing, really to enable cryptocurrency and make it accessible to the whole world. So in terms of your question about what other businesses, I ran the exchange business, and to be honest, running exchange is really tough. It's really stressful. It's really busy, especially in a jurisdiction where there's no regulation. There's no entry barriers to entry. So it's basically a race down to zero in terms of fees and so on. So it's very competitive. I wish them luck, but I have formally given up on any and all businesses related to exchanges. Basically, I tell people honestly, you cannot pay me enough to be the CEO or to be a founder of a new exchange. You cannot pay me enough. Literally, I don't care which exchange is running out there. If you say, let's replace the CEO with Bobby Lee, no way. You cannot pay me enough to do that. Same thing with custodial wallets. I don't want to custody your Bitcoins. I don't want to run a custodial service. I don't want to hold on to your Bitcoins, your cryptocurrency. I'd rather you have it yourself, which is the ethos for Ballet. We want everyone to hold their own private keys. We made it simple. We created a two-factor key generation process. We have the two factors on here physically in tamper-evident form, behind a tamper-evident sticker, behind a tamper-evident scratch-off. So you have your private keys, you keep it. That's the best way to do it.
If you had this at home, would you recommend keeping it in a lockbox, like a safe, or is this fireproof?
So unfortunately, it is not fireproof. In fact, the reason why is the stainless steel is pretty fire resistant. I mean, it won't melt until really high temperature, but the sticker on it is not fireproof. That will burn off, okay? So I want to make it very clear to our users and the audience that if you buy a Ballet wallet, be aware that it's not fireproof. But to be fair, not many things in life are truly fireproof. Some things are fire resistant. You could put this in a fire resistant or fireproof safe. But even a true fireproof safe, if it's an inferno, it's going to melt. The only thing that's truly fireproof is gold. That's why gold has had so much value over the centuries of humanity. Gold doesn't, if it melts, it's still gold. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a true disaster, like the World Trade Center is coming down, you know what they found in the bottom? The gold was still there. Everything else was melted around it. So unfortunately, this is not fireproof. Now you can, like I said, you could buy fireproof safes and so on and so forth to put it in there. But for most, and by the way, nothing else is fireproof. All the hardware wallets are not fireproof. They're not even waterproof. This is at least waterproof and mold proof and mildew proof and all that stuff.
Wait, so if I get into a boating accident, this will survive?
It will survive, but it might go down the bottom of the ocean, but you have to go pick it up.
Well, then I guess I lost my Bitcoin. So, well.
Yeah. So in terms of fireproof, not many things in life are fireproof. By the way, for other wallets, we have to back up those 24 recovery words. Have you done that? Backing up the 24 recovery words? So those, you probably are not backing those up in a fireproof way either. So if you have it on a sheet of paper, or even if you etch it into some plate of steel, those are not necessarily fireproof either. So that's the issue with the world today. I mean, fire is a real hazard.
And what are some of the other challenges of other self-custody wallets compared to this?
So all electronic solutions, in my analysis, are quite troublesome. So I've been in crypto for 9 years. I've used all sorts of wallets, everything from the ledgers, the trezors, to the USB-based wallets. I've used the Open Dime. I've used paper wallets. I've used NFC wallets, Bluetooth wallets, credit card size. I've used software wallets. I've used everything all over the world. Okay, and what I've realized, they all have their flaws. They're very hard to use. I mean, I by the way, I have 2 degrees of computer science from Stanford University. I have my bachelor's degree, my master's degree. I studied in Silicon Valley I worked in Silicon Valley for 8 years. I've been in tech for over 20 years. I'm a bona fide geek. I'm a bona fide nerd. Okay, I'm proud of that. I can use all those wallets, but the reality is for normal people, for someone like my cousins, like my parents, like my sister, for people like my children, my niece and nephew, for regular people, all of those solutions are too hard. Most of them ask you to back up the recovery words. Like, how are you going to back it up? You have to write it down 24 words in the right order, in good handwriting. You have to laminate the paper so it doesn't get water, mildew, or the ink doesn't smear. And the way you put that piece of paper in a safe. Well, you're going to put something in the safe anyways. Why don't you just put a Ballet wallet in the safe? Right? And then afterwards, you have to use the hardware devices. You have to charge batteries. You have to use cables. What happens in 5 years, 10 years when USB cables are out of the favor? How about NFC chips? How about the firmware, right?
My husband has his Bitcoin stored in a safe on several different hardware wallets, and he has like a treasure map that he hasn't told me where he has each of the keys. I'm like, how am I going to figure out if some catastrophe happened, what the heck am I going to do? Try to piece, from sock drawer to card to the back of stickers, these different like passphrases. It's just a really silly way to keep all your assets. Like, I know it's the safest one that people have come up with, but this seems a lot easier to me.
Yeah, you have to tell your husband about this. I think that he'll find this a lot easier. Plus, you could buy multiple of these and spread it out. Like, you could put 2% of your Bitcoin on this card, or put a few over here, and spread them out different locations. And at least whoever has it, whoever finds it, has access to it, right? So if something were to happen, a disaster would happen, then your children or whoever is in your will, not charity, whoever, can still get access to Bitcoin. So the Bitcoins are not lost forever. So we really emphasize that. So in terms of your question about where to store it, so obviously if you have a lot of Bitcoins, you want to put in a Ballet wallet, you want to store it in the safe, somewhere safe, either home safe or bank safe, or hide it in the freezer, hide it under bed mattress or something like that. Now, also you could use a Ballet wallet. It's designed inside of a credit card, so we make it easy and capable, so you could hold it in your leather wallet or a purse for a woman. You could bring it everywhere with you. Yeah, the airport. This is made of metal, stainless steel. So if you go through metal detector, it will buzz off. So you want to put it through the X-ray and not in the metal detector. And by the way, we designed this product so that even X-rays cannot penetrate and read the private keys. Right.
What if a TSA agent randomly stole it, though? I mean, then you'd really be SOL, huh? Because they've been doing that lately. They stole my magnesium supplements. I don't know, maybe they thought it was like cocaine or something. I'm like, listen, losers, I just need to be calm.
Yeah, you're right. So if someone steals it, I don't care if it's a TSA or not, then you are SOL, because it would be like a wad of cash. It would be like a gold bar. So make sure they don't steal it. So that's the trade-off.
Do you think someday people are going to have these tattooed on their bodies rather than, some type of external device?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I've thought about biometrics and stuff like that. The issue is this, okay? If you tattoo the private key onto your body somewhere, most parts of the body are visible in public in daylight. So you really have to hide it, right? Even if you hide it somewhere on your body in the back, lower back, or whatever, there are chances other people can still see it in certain times of the day. So it wouldn't be a good idea to hide that private key in plain sight. So what we do on this wallet is the private key is beneath the sticker, tamper evident. It's also beneath the scratch off. So we purposely make it tamper evident and it's hidden from plain view, right? If you want to see it, then you have to really crack it open. And then by then, someone else has evidence that you've cracked it open. So that's why for body parts, whether it's tattoo or embedding a chip in it, the problem with embedding a private key in a computer chip, you put it inside your body. They call it biohacking. That's actually not very reliable because if the chip fails or if there's battery power issues, then how do you get the data off of the chip? Right? In the end, you still have to have a backup. So if you have a backup, you might as well just use a backup. Right, so that's why my biggest complaint about hardware wallets is I don't know if you've gone through. They routinely require firmware upgrades. That is the scariest thing.
Me too.
Yeah, very nervous for firmware upgrades. It's the scariest thing because they tell you, oh, you better have your backup backup root recovery seed ready. Well, and then oftentimes it goes through fine. You don't need to restore it, but it's just a tantalizing, 3 minutes that you have to wait there for the firmware upgrade to go through. So, and they say they're so secure. If they're so secure, why do they have to keep improving the security and upgrading the firmware? With Ballet, you never have to upgrade the firmware. There is no electronics, no chips, nothing to upgrade. It's secure by default, so it's good to go.
That's awesome. Let me ask you, so you've been in the crypto space for a long time, and we're still struggling to a certain extent with adoption. How do you educate people about this? Like, who's your market, and how do you get them to understand it if it's somebody that's not a hardcore crypto person?
Yeah, so obviously this wallet is really suitable for people who are not in crypto yet. So people who are brand new, they don't own any coins. We call them no coiners or new coiners. They basically would be the first to own. They own their first Bitcoin when you put them on a Ballet wallet. So it's great as a gift if you have a cousin, if you have a friend, a neighbor who wants to own some Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever, Ethereum for the first time. You load it onto Ballet wallet. By the way, each wallet, even though it has a Bitcoin symbol on it, it's multi-currency support. We support over 50 currencies. So you can load it on there, and then you can then give it to them, say, happy birthday, happy Hanukkah, happy Valentine's Day, wedding anniversary, all sorts of good occasions you can give out crypto as a gift. That's our base case user. But the other users are people like your husband, Sasha, who are into crypto. They know what they're doing, but this may be an auxiliary way to store and diversify their cryptocurrency so that it doesn't get hacked, so that it doesn't get lost by accident. So your husband might choose to put 10%, 20% of his cryptocurrency on Ballet wallets or on several Ballet wallets and spread it out in different safes and different hidden locations. And then the best part is because it's bearer instrument, there's nothing to memorize. There's no passwords to memorize for you to memorize. There's no password for your husband to memorize. If you have children, or grandchildren, niece and nephew, your parents, one day someone can recover the cryptocurrency on here.
Wow, that's awesome. Do you have any other questions? This is good.
Any price predictions for Bitcoin over the coming year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm really excited. This year is 2020. We're going to see the block reward halving. Finally, it's this year. It's May of this year. I've been waiting for 4 years now, So it's very exciting. I know Bitcoin price is hovering at $8,000, $9,000. It's about a third of where a third to a half of it's about 40% of its all-time high, 45%. It's very exciting. What I'm trying to say is that when we get to the halving, after the halving, I think 6 to 12 months after the halving, that's when I expect the prices start running up again. And when it runs up again, it's going to go past the all-time high. So it's the long march past the all-time high of $20,000. And after that, FOMO is going to kick in. Everyone and their brother and their sister, all the taxi cab drivers, all the coffee shop baristas, all the supermarket people, everyone on the airplane, everyone your Uber driver will be asking about Bitcoin. Of course, they'll be using Ballet wallets, hopefully. But more importantly, the price will go up to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. I think it'll go up to $100,000, maybe even $200,000 for the next run up. However, when it reaches that all-time high, it's going to fall down really hard. It's going to fall down 80% or 70%, and will end up at $30,000, which will be terrible for the people who buy $200,000. But $30,000 is pretty sweet to me.
Plus All the profit you made off the wallets.
Yeah, that's right.
We talked briefly, so I also mentioned my husband's in the Bitcoin ATM business,
Yes.
and you said, so right now when people buy Bitcoin at an ATM, they have to get this paper thing, or they scan it to like their Coinbase mobile wallet or something, but is there a way to integrate these kind of cards into the Bitcoin ATM network?
Yeah, we just launched Ballet 2-3 months ago. We just started selling them. We're selling them out. We can barely keep up with the manufacturing. So we haven't reached out to all the ATM operators yet. But if any of you are listening or ATM operators or know of one, Ballet Wallet is a great addition to a Bitcoin ATM installation. The reason is many people go to ATM, and these are new people. They've heard of Bitcoin. They'd be interested in buying $20, $50, $100 worth of Bitcoin, but they don't have a wallet. And setting up a wallet on the go is so hard. You have to back up those 24 words. You have to, or print out a piece of paper wallet. So we think this can be the killer product to make Bitcoin ATM sales go up. So we want to offer this to Bitcoin ATM operators. They can sell it or even give it away next to the ATMs, and people can easily put their Bitcoins on here as soon as they buy the Bitcoin from the ATM. So it's really easy.
One more quick question about paper wallets. So if you print your paper wallet on your printer, do you think it's really necessary to take the printer off the internet, or what are the risks to that? Because I've heard people say you need to buy a brand new printer and make your wallet as the first printer and then turn it online to the internet.
Yeah, those are all good questions. That's why. So people ask me, who's Ballet Wallet suitable for? It's suitable for people like what you said, people who don't have the technical knowledge and the wherewithal to properly manage their own wallets, to properly print their own paper wallets, to properly set up their own recovery seeds and so on. And that's the 99% of the population. I think only 1% of the population actually has the technical know-how to do all that correctly. So to be honest with you, I don't basically, if you have to ask about how to do the paper wallet, then my answer is you're not qualified to do your own paper wallet. I suggest you spend $35, buy the Ballet wallet instead. That's my honest advice. If you have to ask, you're probably not good enough to do it, because no matter what I tell you, you could screw it up one way or the other, and it's going to be disastrous. Like people print their paper wallet and then they make a backup of it and they post it on Google Drive or iCloud, and it's on the cloud, and then other people can access it, right? It's really terrible. You asked me about how to back this up. So technically, you could back this up by peeling the sticker off. There's a yellow portion that has a private key, encrypted private key, and then you can scratch off the bottom. It'll reveal like 25 characters, 20 characters of the passphrase. You could back that up by writing it down, taking a photo, Polaroid or digital photo, whatever you want, and you could even upload it to some online system, but that's of course not recommended. You never want to back up your private keys to an online system, okay? So technically you could back it up, but the problem is once you've backed it up, you have to peel it off. Then you've tampered with the wallet so anyone else can see it. So what I recommend is, for this kind of wallet, put small amounts of money, don't back it up, just leave it in a safe place. Treat it like gold.
How is this is like switching gears a little bit, but I keep watching the news out of Hong Kong, and China has sort of had different feelings about cryptocurrency. What do you think the future is with so much political strife? I would think that Bitcoin might be a little bit dangerous to like a foreign government because it can kind of take away their power a little bit. What do you think is going to happen like on the regulatory side in China?
Yeah, regulatory China, their system of government is top down. So they want to be in control of everything, and that's why 2.5 years ago, they decided to crack down on exchanges and not issue licenses, okay? So we got affected. We had to close down BTC China. In fact, I'm proud to say that I'm one of the only people in the world who has successfully run one of the largest exchanges and then closed it down and gave all the money back to everyone. Everyone got paid back their money. No one lost money on my exchange. No one got hacked. It's really great. Now, the other exchanges just moved offshore. So in China, there's a lot of what we call underground services, underground exchanges, underground OTC dealers, where they buy and sell Bitcoin, where they offer exchange services, but it's under the radar. You have to cross a China great internet firewall and use those services. So in essence, many countries, and not just China, regulation will be important. Some countries will be pro-cryptocurrency. Usually those countries are pro-democracy and pro-freedom. And other countries that are under totalitarian governments or communist governments will clamp down harder and disallow their citizens from accessing cryptocurrency. To me, it's a great sham. To me, it's a great travesty of humanity.
Yeah, well, they maybe need to get some Ballet wallets.
They could. Yeah, I think we still haven't yet broken into the market for South America or other countries in Africa. So we take, we just got started, right? So I think over time, many people in those countries will find this Ballet wallet very useful because it really takes cryptocurrency, digital currency, makes it into a physical good, and then allows them to carry it with them, even across borders or not, and really allows them to have their value safe with them in their own hands.
What kind of conferences are you guys targeting? Are you only doing crypto conferences, or are you doing other kinds of tech stuff? Because this seems like a product that doesn't need to be for us and our nerdy friends.
Yeah, I was at CES last week in Las Vegas. I was a keynote speaker in the digital forum for CES. We also had a booth, had a CS booth. It was the first time I've attended CES, and it was great to be there as an exhibitor and also as a keynote speaker. That crowd is much more normal people. Now, the problem is many people who came up to our booth, they don't even know, they've heard of Bitcoin, but they don't own any Bitcoin. So in hindsight, the CES crowd, they don't appreciate Ballet for what it is. They don't appreciate this wallet. They don't even know what's a wallet, what's an exchange. They assume it's the same thing. So there's a lot of education necessary. So I think it's going to take a few more years. I think after the next FOMO, after 2 FOMOs in 8 years, I think the world will be ready. Yeah.
What do you think about the lack of like a central marketing system for crypto? Things sort of have dipped down, and I'm seeing a lot of different people protesting everywhere, and I'm like, Bitcoin could help you. But it seems like there's not such an effort there to educate people because there's no central person that would benefit from it, right? What are you guys doing in order to kind of help people get onboarded?
Well, that's how Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is not centralized. So I'm not surprised at this outcome, and that's what's to be expected, basically. And I don't think we can have anything different. I think unlike the other things, like for example, PayPal payments, or in China, Alipay, they have central organizations pushing PayPal or Alipay, and they have budgets to do marketing and so on. You could put ads in Super Bowl to get more people to use PayPal or Venmo. But the reality is with Bitcoin, you can't do that. I mean, once in a while, you have a company who will sponsor an ad in Super Bowl. I think we've seen that happen. But the reality is we can't expect a centralized marketing effort. People would just do what they do. I'm going out there, attending conferences, spreading the joy of cryptocurrency, spreading the joy of Bitcoin, and of course promoting Ballet. And what I do is every time I speak, I should give out Bitcoin. I give out Bitcoin at every keynote speech. I've done that for years and years now. I've given out thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin over the years.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a good way to get people started.
Well, thank you so much. This was a really, really great talking with you. I learned a lot.
Me too. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, thank you, Tatiana. Thank you, Sasha.
Awesome. Everybody go out and get your Ballet wallet. What's the website?
Oh, it's balletcrypto.com, BALLETCRYPTO.com.
Makes a good gift. See you later. Thanks. Hey there, it's time for the show, the Tatiana Show, where you make friends and talk life and crypto. We gotta think and reflect and use lots of intellect with our hearts when we work together. I know that it can be so hard out there, looking all around and saying that life ain't fair. So that is why we will fight and stay up late at night, listening to the Tatiana Show. The Tatiana Show has been brought to you by CryptoMediaHub.com, a boutique marketing and PR agency for Bitcoin and beyond. Thank you for listening to The Tatiana Show. Please follow us on Twitter at Queen Tatiana or on Facebook and Instagram at Tatiana Moroz Music. More episodes can be found at thetatianashow.com, and make sure you leave a review on iTunes and tell your friends. You are listening to The Tatiana Show. This show may contain adult content, language, and humor and is intended for mature audiences. If that's not you, please stop listening. Nothing you hear on The Tatiana Show is intended as financial advice, legal advice, or really anything other than entertainment. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Oh, and if you're listening to us on an affiliate network, the ideas and views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the network that you're listening on or of any sponsors or any affiliate products you may hear about on this show. Now that that's squared away, let's start the show.